Well, hello. Hello. It's been a while. How's it going? We're back with the podcast. You kidding? Man, when was the last time I recorded an episode? December 22nd. Over a month ago. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Oscar Guy here. Oscar Guy here is back. Oscar Guy back. And it's episode 11 of the Oscar Guy Here podcast. And, you know, I've been putting off this podcast just because, the holidays happened. And then after the holidays, we were pummeled with update after update, precursor after precursor, thing after thing, stuff after stuff. But the Oscar nominations came out on this past Thursday. And we have a little bit of a breather until the Critics' Choice Awards happen, which is on February 7th. So I figured I'd do a check-in with y'all via a new episode of the podcast. And this is episode 11. And I really don't have an agenda. I'm kind of just turning on my microphone and we're just going to talk about things and stuff. And I'm going to make up the agenda as we go along, and that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. And stop. My computer yelled at me for some reason. Why is that? It said, "Buding, yo bing." I know that is a perfect fifth. That's an interval. Dio we, bo ba bi bo we. I went to music school, bitch. So yeah. That's it, man. This is the Oscar Guy Here podcast. Thank you so much for checking in. So, look, man, I released my Oscar nominations reaction video. The afternoon of nominations, and needless to say, I went from around 350 something subscribers to what is now 410 subscribers, which is not like an explosion per se, but the video has over 5,000 views right now, which is absolutely insane for me. That is my most viewed video since, I believe, my SAG nomination reactions, not last year, but the year before. For some reason, I got a lot of views on that. I have almost 4,000 views on that, and that was 2 years ago. And then I got a lot of views when I did my Killers of the Flower Moon trailer reaction. That was like almost 3,000. But this one is a different beast altogether. Partially due to the results of the nominations. In turn, I'm Still Here showing up in Best Picture. And of course, Fernanda Torres, the film's star, showing up in Best Actress. And I have Brazil to thank, I think mostly for that video blowing up, because I told y'all to sound off in the comments in that video, and there are 63 comments, and I want to say 98% of those comments are for love for I'm Still Here and Fernanda Torres, which I absolutely love. I love to see that. And y'all answered. You guys answered to the call, and it's incredible. It's incredible to see that, and I'm so glad that I've gained some additional followers on the channel. And I hope you don't mind my clearing my throat every 5 seconds. And it's really annoying because every time, I don't know, I don't want to get into specifics, but I eat and then phlegm happens in my throat, and then I decided to record a podcast, and my throat is like, why are you talking right now? We're lathered up. Your esophagus is lathered up. Real disgusting, James. Stop talking about your esophagus. We're here to talk about films, right? And the Oscars. So that's what we're doing. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to thank you guys for giving me a sub and reacting to that video, reacting to my reactions, if you will. There's more content to come, and there's a lot to look forward to in the next month and a half here. and in the foreseeable future, and in future Oscar races. So yeah, the Oscar nominations happened, and yeah, I mean, a lot of crazy things went down, right? A lot of crazy things went down, and I think we'll go through it category by category, in this episode, just to kind of process some of the things that happened, and of course we'll get to the I'm Still Here things, in regards, and and everything else too. But where am I going with this? Where am I going with this? No agenda, no script. We're off the cuff, baby. We're off the cuff. We are off the cuff. There I go again. There I go again. So I think I'm just going to start off before we get into the Oscar nominations. Just want to remind you guys, I'm on Instagram, and I am on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I am also on Letterboxd. And on all of those platforms, my handle is Oscar Guy Here. So make sure you give me a follow on each of those platforms to keep up with my shenanigans. And I also have a website that I developed myself, because I am a web developer. It's what I do, to pay, to make it's what I do for a living. I was going to say I do it to pay rent, but it's more than that. It's a career that I enjoy, and it's what I do to make a living. And I make websites, and I made my own website, OscarGuyHere.com. And you can see some of my videos on there, some featured videos that I want to showcase. There's a page for my podcast where you can listen to the podcast right on the website, as well as my predictions landing page, where you can see my latest Oscar predictions. And I have added a new page to the site, OscarGuyHere.com/reviews, and that actually utilizes the Letterboxd RSS feed to pull in the latest 20 Letterboxd reviews that I have published. So whenever I have a Letterboxd diary entry, it automatically gets pulled from Letterboxd onto my website at OscarGuyHere.com/reviews. For example, I just watched Memoir of a Snail about 20 or 30 minutes ago, and I posted on Letterboxd about it, and it's already on my website because I published it to Letterboxd, and there it is. So you can see all of my reviews there, and you can see it on my Letterboxd page. But just to provide some extra clicks and some extra, I guess, what do you call it, interaction and eyes on my website, I have it included on my website as well. So just giving you guys a reminder of that. So I like to kind of talk about, at the start of each episode, I kind of like to talk about what I've seen, what movies I've watched since the last episode, and God forbid the last episode was on December 22nd. So I've seen a lot. I will let you know that I've seen a lot of films since then. And this is going back to Christmas, really. I don't know if I talked about my Eyes Wide Shut rewatch, but that's a Christmas tradition that I kind of tried to start, and I did it for maybe a couple years, and I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't the perfect Christmas movie to fall into every single year, because it really is a film you need to be in the mood for to watch it. As much as I absolutely love it, it's one of my favorite Kubrick films, but this pot is making you aggressive. Is all I'm gonna say. That's a line from the movie. And I say in my latest review, I'm like, normalize this blank is making you aggressive in everyday conversation. But yeah, I saw that. And then on Christmas Eve, I saw two films. I saw Fred Claus because my mom and stepdad wanted to watch it. And it's not great. I mean, it's fine for a campy Christmas movie. It's perfectly harmless. It's fine. Paul Giamatti kills it as Santa, and Vince Vaughn is a great comedic actor. and we'll just leave it at that. It's fine. It's fine, man. It's fine. But that was that. And then my mom and I started talking about, we got on the subject of Oppenheimer for some reason. I let him know, hey, David Krumholtz is in Oppenheimer, and he played the kid from, it's because of Santa Claus. Santa Claus, the Tim Allen film, was on TV. And I was like, hey, see that kid right there? That's David Krumholtz. He's in Oppenheimer. Remember the heavyset guy with the glasses? That's him. And my mom was like, holy crap. That's crazy. And then she was like, you know what else he's in? He's in this movie called Slums of Beverly Hills. Have you ever seen it? I'm like, no, I've never seen it. And she was like, oh, that's one of my favorite movies ever. Let's just put it on. I'm gonna put it on for you, and then I'm gonna go make holiday stuff, holiday cookies and French toast bake for the Christmas gathering. And it's a good thing that she did that, because there's some scenes in that film that are like, okay, I shouldn't be watching this with my mom. But she put it on for me, and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. It was really great. Natasha Lyonne, wonderful. She's in it. Alan Arkin is great, and of course David Krumholtz. Man, what a great actor he is. Like, I didn't realize he had such charisma. He had this charismatic confidence that he showcases in that film, young as he was. It was great. It really surprised me, and I can't believe I never heard of it. It's more of an indie film that came out in '98, but I liked it, and it was certainly a choice to put that on Christmas Eve. But that was good. It was good. I really liked it. And then after Christmas, I saw A Complete Unknown, and I went to a theater, actually, a movie theater that I used to work at, close by, and it was sold out. It was December 28th, so I guess it was the Saturday after Christmas, and a lot of people were going out to see it, and I saw it, and it was very good. It was very good. Timmy is incredible. He really pulls off the Bob Dylan thing, not only in his speaking and his oeuvre and his singing and playing. He really embodies the vibe of Bob Dylan and his, the way he carries himself, the way he acts, his body language. He really embodied him. And it's not so much a one-to-one impression of him. It's more of an inside out kind of performance. He kind of wanted to understand his personality and his mystery internally, and then whatever happened, physically when he was portraying him was kind of like a secondary thing, and it made his performance that much deeper. So I think he is fantastic in the movie, and he is definitely the standout performance. As good as Edward Norton and Monica Barbaro and Elle Fanning all are, it's a great ensemble performance. He definitely carries that film for sure. And Monica Barbaro is great too, as Joan Baez. She doesn't get a lot to do. She does her own singing, which was very impressive. And she has some really standout scenes here and there. But she was nominated for the Oscar for supporting actress, which really surprised me. She did get a SAG nomination. But I don't know. I think I need to see the film again to complete my thoughts there. But it didn't seem like an Oscar-worthy performance to me, as great as she was. But I dig it. It's whatever. She's great. And then Elle Fanning is really good too. She won the NBR Supporting Actress Prize, which was kind of a shock to everybody. That was kind of an almost out of nowhere win there. And she's good. She's really good too. And of course, Edward Norton embodying Pete Seeger. Very impressive. The film, in I guess my last video, or maybe my predictions video, I mentioned that the film, I don't it the film borders on great. I don't think it's look, like the guilds have been going crazy for A Complete Unknown. It's been nominated for so many guild awards. It killed it at BAFTA. It got 8 Oscar nominations. It got DGA and it got mangled into director, which is insane. And it's not like I don't get it. I don't, but I also don't really get it. Like the film is really good, but it meanders a little bit. It kind of plays into the typical biopic formula where you kind of see this upbringing of this artist. It doesn't go into his childhood and everything like that and his upbringing there, but it really focuses on his rise to fame in the early to mid 60s. And it's by the numbers in some aspects, but it also kind of shields us from the mystery of Bob Dylan. You know, we don't really fully understand him, and that was definitely deliberate. So I kind of commend the film in doing that, but there were a lot of like musical number moments here and there that was like that could have been. It felt like it was kind of they were just padding out this film almost needlessly in the grand scheme of things. So that was really my like only like real complaint about the film. But by the end, you know, I think the second half onwards towards the end is the most engaging part of the film. And it was still worth it. And it's still definitely worth a watch. But I think there's some things that are holding it back from calling it great. It borders on great, like I said. But it's very good. It's very good. I recommend it. Does it deserve 8 Oscar nominations? I don't know. Personally, I don't think so. But it's really good. It's really good. And it's worth checking out for Timmy's performance alone. It's good. It's really good. And then I watched Hitman in January. That was my first log of 2025, and that was really good. You know, I wanted to watch it for a while, and then Glenn Powell got that Golden Globe nomination. And I was like, okay, I'm going to see what this is all about. And it was very enjoyable, very easy, breezy watch. You know, not really, no frills. And it was good. And it really showcases Glenn Powell's like versatility and his undeniable charm. And his performance is really good. It's layered to an extent. It's not that deep as it could have been. You know, all of the quote unquote characters that he plays in the film aren't really like showcased that much. It's kind of like a gag in a way where he kind of portrays like a different hitman in each scenario that he gets involved in. That was it was more of a gag. It really is like him, the character, and then this persona of this hitman guy that he's wrestling with these two personas really. But the scene where he kind of breaks down near the end, where he's like, well, I don't want to give anything away, but it was between him and the lead actress, where he kind of reveals what's going on. And there's a scene there that really got me, and it's hilarious, and his timing and his delivery and his charisma just adds up to this beautiful cocktail. And he's really great. He's really great. He's a great actor. He's a great actor, and it really convinced me. And you know, it's fine. The movie is fine. It didn't really blow me away, but it had its moments and was very funny and enjoyable. It's a perfect movie to just put on and just kind of be along with the ride. What am I trying to say? You're along for the ride when you're watching it, and it's just chill. It's breezy. It's in and out. It's a good time. So I recommend it. Then I watched The Brutalist again. I went to go see it in 70mm at the Philly Film Society, where it was the same theater I saw it when it showed at the Philly Film Festival back in October. And I've been wanting to rewatch it. And look, man, I think it holds up. not only does it hold up, it's even better on a rewatch, and it's solidified it as one of my favorite films of the year, if not the decade. It's that good. It's incredible. I think it's a masterpiece. Um, there's some people out there who really love it, and then the second half it kind of falls apart. Um, I am part of the minority where I disagree. I think the second half is just as good, if not better, than the first half. Shoot me. Shoot me. Shoot me dead. I don't care. Sue me. I'm going to die on that hill. It's, I mean, when I watched it again, it was hard for me to even separate parts 1 and 2, as different as they are tonally and, where they go, where the narrative goes in the second half. Like, it didn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all. And maybe it's because the tone, there's a lot of shifting tones in the second half, and it kind of goes into places where you don't expect, because in the first half, and I don't want to give it away, like, I highly recommend you see this movie, especially in a theater. I know it's 3.5 hours long. It's got a 15-minute intermission. That's the selling point right there. It's got an intermission. It's beautifully paced, even outside of the intermission. Like, it is such an excellently paced film. It doesn't even matter how long it is. It like the runtime is almost the last thing on my mind when I'm watching the film. It's that freaking good, right? But where was I going? What was I saying before that? The second half is good. It's really good. It's different in a way, but it's cohesive enough. It kind of forms its ideas and its thematic elements into something, that is tangible to me. It's just you just have to be on board with it, like 100%, because, and I don't want to give it away. Okay, here's where I was going. I don't want to give the film away if you haven't seen it, and please do see it. The first half kind of builds up this this expectation of, immigration and, fleeing your home country to a place of more promise and opportunity, and, trying to realize the American dream despite the troubles you've gone through. And that's what the first half is all about. And then the second half kind of shatters that. It kind of takes a sledgehammer to all of that and deconstructs it in a very upfront way. So maybe that's why people felt uncomfortable about the second half. And there is a moment in the second half where it really catches you off guard. And if you're not on board with it, it doesn't ruin the movie for you, but it definitely puts a weird taste in your mouth. But I don't know. I was on board with it, and despite all of that, I think it's incredible, and I think it works. I think it 100% works. 98% works, because I do have some issues with the epilogue. In part 2, when the second part of the film ends, you're kind of left with this one emotion. You're kind of left with these emotions, and this tone. And then the epilogue starts, and it kind of goes into a whole nother thing. And the epilogue is very brief. It's probably not even 5 minutes long. And it goes into this whole other thing with this whole different tone, and it kind of ends in a completely different fashion than what part 2 kind of ended on. And there's some weird, there's a weird dichotomy there that I do criticize a little bit, but the film in general, and what the film is trying to say, and its themes and its layers, it all adds up to what I think is masterful, and it overshadows my criticisms of the epilogue. And I love the epilogue. I think it's wonderful, but there is a huge tonal shift that happens that is a little bit, I don't want to say misconstrued. It's just a little, it's not misconstrued. It's not messy. It's just, there's something off. There's something off about it. And I've seen it twice, and I've recognized it I've recognized it both times. But I'm just going to come to terms with it, right? Like, it's, And yet I don't even want to call it a flawed masterpiece. It's such a small flaw and it's almost an oversight for me. You know, I call Babylon a flawed masterpiece because in the third act of that film, you know, there's a lot of things that could be cut out, but the film in general, I think, is a masterpiece that mostly overshadows that. Babylon Hive, where you at? We are strong. We are strong. But yeah, I think The Brutalist is a masterpiece, and I really hope it wins Best Picture. You know, we still don't really know what is winning Best Picture, and it's January 26th. So what the hell's going on? It really is between The Brutalist, Anora, Conclave, and Emilia Perez. If it's anything else, I'll be shocked. But if there's anything that's going to defeat Emilia Perez, I think it'll be either Anora, The Brutalist, or Conclave. And really, we're just going to have to see how the rest of the precursors play out. Critics' Choice, SAG, BAFTA, and PGA and DGA. Like, all of that, whoever wins big at those precursors is going to determine what is winning Best Picture. And we just don't have those answers yet. So, I will say that I hope The Brutalist pulls this off. It's wishful thinking for me because my favorite film of the year last year, Oppenheimer, swept the entire season in terms of pictures. So I got it easy last year. So for my favorite movie of the year to win Best Picture twice in a row, it is wishful thinking. So I'm not gonna. It's kind of in a too good to be true territory for right now. So we'll see. If it ends up being Conclave, great movie. If it ends up being Anora, even better. If it ends up being Emilia Perez, yeah, I'm not really prepared for that. I don't think anybody is prepared for that. That is going to be a doozy, I will say. That is going to be a doozy. But I don't want to think about that right now. Let's think about The Brutalist. Yeah, it's a nearly perfect movie. Go see it. Don't be afraid of the runtime. It's an experience. Watching that film is not just putting on a movie and that's it. Like, it really is like an experience that you have to just sit in, and it really takes you on a journey. It's incredible. So that's that. And then I watched Blue Velvet for the first time because, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Lynch, may he rest in peace. He did pass away this past week, and his loss is incalculable in the film industry. He really was a visionary. There's nobody like him. There will never be anybody like him. His style and his oeuvre has been... People have attempted to replicate it, and it's never worked. He was one of a kind, and a very unique person, to say the very least. What a unique dude! If you've seen his weather reports, I mean, that's all you need to know about the man. The fact that he practiced transcendental meditation and he was like that, like, you knew that he knew what was up. He had this life thing figured out, really, without knowing what the meaning of life was. Like, he knew what, at the core, what the human experience is and its absurdity. And it's not about the answers, and it's not about the questions. It's just, it is. It just is. And all of his films, like, examine these themes in different ways here and there. He really was incredible. He really was incredible. And I'm talking like that I've seen every Lynch film there is. And in fact, I watched Blue Velvet the other night, which was my first Lynch film. So what do I know? What do I know? I just, I know what I know. I know what I know, Don't you know? Oh, I know. And I figured I'd start with Blue Velvet, and that seemed to be a perfect introduction to him. It's one of his most accessible movies, I guess. Maybe outside of The Straight Story from 1999, which was a G-rated Disney movie, which in turn means that it is his most experimental film, and meaning that it is a very by the numbers film, as great as it is. I didn't want to start there because you kind of have to go into that knowing David Lynch and his work and what he typically does. So I didn't want to start there. And I didn't want to start at Eraserhead. That one's really out and really out there. I could have started with Elephant Man, more of a somber pick. I didn't want to start with Mulholland Drive because I kind of want to build up to Mulholland Drive because that a lot of people call that his masterpiece. But I think the next best thing people were saying is checking out Blue Velvet. And man, not even 5 minutes into the film, I was already absolutely hooked. Not even 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, I'm in. I get it. I get this man. I get what he's trying to do. It's just his films. You can't really think that hard and try to glean meaning out of it. It really isn't the point. It's more of sitting with the emotions that you wrestle with when you experience his films. His existential, he gets to the core of existentialism, and you really feel that, and you really have to embrace that in order to, like, quote unquote understand what he's doing. And God, what have I been missing? I mean, it knocked me out. Blue Velvet absolutely knocked me out. It was amazing. It was so good. Not perfect, but it was nearly perfect. It was incredible. It's wacky, it's self-aware, it's ridiculous, and it's beautiful, and it's ugly, and it's frustrating, and it's moving all at once. It's amazing, and I think I'll leave it at that. Dennis Hopper, scary. He's scary in this movie. Super scary. Isabella Rossellini, scary. Like real scary characters, real scary performances. I'm in situations. Man, crazy. And Laura Dern, man, my God. What a great actress she was. She was probably, 18 or 19 when they filmed this? Man, she was fantastic. And of course, Kyle MacLachlan, who was a Lynch go-to for many a year. So I highly recommend Blue Velvet. If you've never seen a Lynch film, I think that is the one to start with. For my next Lynch, I don't know, maybe I'll go back to Eraserhead and maybe Elephant Man. I'll probably check those out. And then maybe I'll check out Mulholland Drive then. And then I could circle back on maybe Lost Highway, Wild at Heart, Straight Story, Inland Empire. I'm probably going to wait until maybe the end because I think that is his most wacky and most cerebral Lynch film from what I've heard. But yeah, rest in peace, David Lynch. Wonderful, wonderful film, Blue Velvet. What else did I see? I saw The Apprentice. Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong were both nominated at the Academy Awards. So I was like, all right, I guess it's time to watch The Apprentice. And I watched it, and man, really brave film, brave filmmaking, brave performances from not only the boys but Maria Bakalova and company. Bravery in what it is exposing about our current president, and you really kind of get an education of what his drive is and kind of where he is coming from. And, the fact that Roy Cohn kind of crafted this person in a way like, a monster, creating a whole different type of monster based on him in a way. And you come to understand like what he's all about, really. And you look at him through, I guess, quote unquote, empathetic eyes. A little bit, like, I don't know. it's good. It's a good experiment to kind of glean understanding regarding who he is and why he does what he does and what his goals are or intentions are. Um, and at the end of the day, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, it almost makes sense that he's in a position of power, much less the president of the United States. It makes sense. It makes sense to me, and it's unfortunate, but it makes sense now. Not that I'm coming to terms with it or anything. You could if you wanted to, but um, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. And Sebastian Stan absolutely crushes it. He's not so much doing an impression, much like the Bob Dylan performance um, that Timmy does in a complete unknown. He embodies him. He doesn't do an impression. He embodies who he is, and it's an inside out performance. You know, you catch on you you take note of his mannerisms, you know, especially in the latter half of the film. Like the final scene is like, oh my god, he is nailing it. Like that is like really the only thing that is missing 1-to-1 is the voice, but he's doing enough to the point where he is basically mirroring this character. Yeah, he does an incredible job. So I really commend him on that front, and I understand that he gets that he got recognized by the Academy at the end of the day. And same thing with Jeremy Strong, who is an actor that I'm not really that familiar with. I've never seen Succession. I want to see Succession. And I think I've seen Jeremy Strong in smaller films, but I know he is an incredibly gifted actor, and he crushes it as well in this film. He embodies the physicality of this character as well, and it was amazing. They're both amazing, and I'm really glad they both got nominated. So yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed the movie. And to the people who are reluctant to watch it because of the whole situation, just watch it anyway. It doesn't really bash you over the head with things. It kind of lets you. It's not. I don't know. It's a lighter film in some aspects than I was expecting. There's some heavy moments in it. Don't get me wrong, but it really is an interesting piece. I think it's worth it. It's worth the effort to go out of your way to watch this. You will not regret it. But anyway, that's The Apprentice. And then I watched a movie called Burning. I know I'm talking a lot about movies I've seen. We are like 40 minutes in, so I do want to wrap this up pretty swiftly here. I rewatched a film called Burning, which is a Korean slow burn drama from Lee Chang-dong. It was a Cannes Film Festival film that was in competition. I don't think it won anything, but being the nerd that I am, I looked at all of the jury grid, all of the jury grids from all the past Cannes Film Festivals that I could find, which are essentially the scores and the jury like scores for each film and competition at each Cannes Film Festival. And out of all of the years, Burning, from what I remember, was the highest rated film from all of the jury grids that I looked at. I think going back to the 90s, I think. And this was after I saw the film for the first time, which the film went completely over my head the first time. It kind of starts off as this drama, and it kind of turns into what you think is a murder mystery, and then it turns into something much deeper and much larger than that. And by the end, I was just like incredibly frustrated by it. It really defied my expectations in a way that I wasn't really into at the time, and I just couldn't get it. And I wanted to understand it because there's parts of the film that I absolutely adored, and it was entrancing. It was really great. in some aspects, but it didn't give me any answers. And I love films that are ambiguous in its answers, but this one was it really frustrated me. But I think I watched it, I think back in December of 2022 or something like that. So it's been a couple years since I had seen it. And it was on Netflix, and it's about to leave Netflix at the end of the month. And I was like, I got to give this another shot. I got to give Burning another shot. I'm sorry. So I put it on, and I liked it more. I liked it a little bit more. I wasn't completely sold still, but I liked it a little bit more. I understood what it's doing. But I'm still not completely on board with it. A lot of people call it a masterpiece, and I get it, but I'm not completely there yet. And maybe it's because the filmmaking is incredibly subtle. Like, subtle with a capital S. Like, subtle. It's just like its approach to its storytelling and narrative is like I said, it's just deeply subtle, equally as deep as its layers of symbolism. And there's a lot to unpack, but it is beautiful in a way. It really is. But it might not be my favorite. It might not be my thing. It just didn't click. It didn't click for me, and I'm trying to make it click. And sometimes, if it doesn't click, it doesn't click, and that's it. And that's okay. But I did like it a little bit more. And I've come to appreciate it. But I'm just not. I'm not there. It's not in my heart. And maybe someone can change my mind. Look, I've read up on it, people's analyses of it. I've seen film analysis, video essays on this film, and nothing has really won me over yet. Really, it's just there's something about it that just confounds me. It's a film that has challenged me more than any film that I've ever seen, and maybe that's something to commend. But it's great. It's a great movie, but I'm just not completely there. There is a Miles Davis needle drop in the middle of the film that is absolutely spellbinding. Are those the same words? It's probably my favorite scene in the entire film. It's magic. It's just magic. But it's not enough to win me over. It's not enough to win me over. But in any case, I really enjoyed it. And then, like I said, I watched Memoir of a Snail tonight, actually, about an hour or so ago, and I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. It's definitely so. I've seen Flow, I've seen The Wild Robot, I've seen Wallace and Gromit, and I've seen this. I have not seen Inside Out 2 yet. But out of the animated feature categories, I think this one is my favorite. I know this one is my favorite, hands down. As much as I like Flow and Wild Robot, Memoir of a Snail really, I really loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I knew it was going to be sad and I knew it was going to be heavy, but the film has this sense of humor that is so infectious and so, it's not uplifting, but it levels out the film's grief and the film's somberness. So it avoids melodrama. If this film had like little to no humor, it would be so hard to get through because there's a lot of tragic things that happens in this film that really hit you hard. It really hits you hard. But it's done so well and so carefully, and in some aspects not so carefully, but deliberately. It was really good. It was really, really good. It was and really it was it's definitely a tearjerker in the best way. By the end I was like really holding back tears, and but it's also very funny. So it's cathartic. It really is. If there's one word to describe this movie, it is cathartic. It is very cathartic. Um, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's definitely my favorite in the category, an animated feature category. So that's what I've been watching, and I know that took 8 years, but that is what I watched since the last episode of the podcast. And there you go. And again, you can see all of my latest Letterboxd reviews, my latest 20 Letterboxd reviews, not only on my Letterboxd profile at Oscar Guy Here, but my website, oscarguyhere.com/reviews is where you can see my Letterboxd reviews, my latest 20. And each of them have links to my Letterboxd reviews on Letterboxd. Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, I guess moving on, man. Moving on. I was gonna get into like some of my favorite like films of the year, my favorite endings of the year, my favorite performances, my favorite scores, and some of my favorite scenes from films of last year. But I think I might save that for a future episode because there is a lot to get through there. And if you want to check out what my top 10 films are, I do have a video for that on my channel called My Top 10 Films of 2024, which is a movie. It's a video that I'm very proud of that doesn't have a lot of views. So please go check that out if you're curious to see what some of my favorites of the year were last year. But I already said that my favorite one was The Brutalist, so there you go. But you can see what my honorable mentions were and 10 through 2. Anyway, from that video. So that's that. I guess we can talk about the Oscar nominations, right? We can talk about the Oscar nominations. Let's talk about the Oscar nominations. Oscar nominations happen. Oscar Guy Here nominations happen. Oscar nomination guy here. I guess we'll start with Best Picture. Man, Best Picture was kind of... So I predicted the PGA Top 10 like a moron. I predicted basically the top 8 plus. So for the last 2 slots, I picked A Real Pain and September 5 to get in. And yeah, that was the PGA 10. But Real Pain missed. September 5 missed. They both got screenplay. Real Pain did get supporting actor as well. But Nickel Poise also got screenplay, but that got into the 8th slot, or the 9th slot rather, and then the 10th slot. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Still Here got into that 10th slot, and what a shocking inclusion that was. Like nobody was seeing that coming. It didn't get any precursors in picture anywhere. It didn't get screenplay. It didn't get a screenplay nomination or any screenplay precursors. The thing that is kind of carrying that film is Fernanda Torres. Her performance and her campaign and the absolute outpouring of love and support for her really helped put this film in the hands of Oscar voters. And that's what happened. It got enough preferential ballot votes and enough nomination votes for it to get into Best Picture. And that is miraculous. That really is a miracle that happened. And it's amazing. It was a wonderful surprise. It was a wonderful surprise to see that happen. And, not only was it nominated for International Feature, but of course, Fernanda Torres got into Best Actress, which is amazing. She did win the Golden Globe, and I think that is really what started her trajectory to what we have now with her Oscar nomination and where I'm Still Here is in the conversation. It really was a ripple effect in regards to its chances, and it caught everybody off guard. It caught me off guard. Even in my video, I couldn't really... My reaction was so muted at the time because, I was still kind of processing everything else that had happened leading up to that. And, man, it shocked me. to the point where I didn't really like freak out or anything. It was more of an internal like, wait, excuse me? What is even going on? What is going on? And then it was kind of a slow burn for me. It was like, I'm still here's in Best Picture. I kept telling myself, I'm still here, got into Best Picture. What the hell? Crazy. I still need to see it. It hasn't been available here. I think it's coming out in select theaters near me, like pretty soon, fairly soon. But it's not on streaming anywhere. I just need to see it. I need to see it. It is on the top of my priority list of films that I have not seen yet. Like that is on the top of the list for sure, easily. So that is that, man. In Best Director, man. What, dude? James Mangold got into director with only a DGA nomination. The director's branch kind of did some wacky stuff. They put in Farjat, which was very cool, but they snubbed Edward Berger, who got in everywhere, for not a director's branch pick like Ramel Ross or maybe even a Berger or, a Capote or something like that. They chose Mangold, who is a director who's been around the block more often than not. But that's certainly a choice. That's certainly a choice. I kind of talked about this in my nominations recap, or my nominations reactions and recap video. But no shade to Mangold and no shade to A Complete Unknown, but like as far as a directorial achievement, the nomination just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Even in comparison to Berger for Conclave, and especially in comparison to Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, who I was predicting at up until the last minute. And in comparison to Villeneuve, of course, Capadia for All We Imagine Is Light. I mean, like, there were so many other options. But it's definitely a pick. It's definitely a pick. It's not really your typical director's branch pick, which is why it just caught me so off guard. Very interesting. Actress, Torres got in. That was wonderful. I also did predict Marianne Jean-Baptiste to get in, and that was it was a stretch a little bit at the end of the day, but I predicted her over Cynthia Erivo, and of course Cynthia Erivo ended up getting in place of her, which is crazy because Jean-Baptiste, a lot of people are saying that is the performance of the year, for sure. Her performance in Hard Truths. She didn't get into every precursor, but she did win the Critics Trifecta. And that's usually a shoo-in for an Oscar nom, but not this year. Pamela Anderson missed. Some people were predicting her, but that never happened. Actor, it was pretty straightforward outside of... I did predict Daniel Craig to get in. I think if I had seen The Apprentice, I would have been like, okay, maybe the Academy could go for a performance like that, more than Daniel Craig and Queer, but or they could have done the inverse there. But once Jeremy Strong got in to supporting, I was like, okay, well maybe Stan does have it after all, and it turns out he did. Supporting actress, I predicted Jamie Lee Curtis jump scare, and that never happened. And in place of her, they went with Monica Barbaro again, from just that lone SAG nomination. Other actresses with more than one precursor was Margaret Qualley, Selena Gomez, Danielle Deadwyler. Anjuna Ellis Taylor only got into Critics' Choice, but that was never going to happen, unfortunately. And then, of course, Curtis got into BAFTA and SAG, and that's why I predicted her. But Barbaro got in over her. And then supporting actor, I predicted Macklin, and I know that was a hope prediction. I just didn't think how well Sing Sing was going to do. It did well, but it didn't do well enough for it to get a picture nomination. And for Macklin missing, I think that was like the nail in the coffin for its Best Picture chances. But at least it got an adapted screenplay and that surprise song nomination too. That was pretty amazing. But I predicted Macklin, but they went with Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. So, Look, I don't really want to go through each category because, number one, I'm starting to lose my voice because I've been talking for almost an hour straight, and I haven't done this in over a month, so my apologies. But if you want to see what my reactions and recap were for the Oscar nominations, just go check out my Oscar nominations reaction video. I probably won't be saying anything new now compared to then anyway. I could have some additional insight here and there, but we can save that for another time, honestly. So that is that. That is that. There's the Oscar nominations. Some surprises here and there, you know. I'm just kind of sifting through each category. I'm very shocked that Flow got into Best International in addition to Animated Feature. And The Wild Robot got into Best Sound and Score. So my thing is, why are they suddenly nominating animated films in other categories now? Like, they used to do it back in the day, and then they stopped doing it, you know, when Pinocchio was a thing, when Across the Spider-Verse was a thing. Both of those films deserve to get multiple nominations, in my opinion. That never happened. So then I was like, okay, well, animated features are not going to be nominated elsewhere. Nope, not this year. They decided, oh, let's spread the love. Why don't you spread the love for Pinocchio? Man. But what it is what it is. It is what it is. Whatever. Cinematography, you know, I predicted the Edward Lockman sneak in. Nickel Boys should not only be nominated, but should be winning. And Conclave missed, and Emilia Perez took its place, which is certainly a choice, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just going through original score. They messed up. They messed up in original score. It is just an absolute crime that Challengers missed. Not only has it gotten in everywhere, it missed the BAFTA long list. So that was the nail in the coffin for the Challengers snub. Watch it win Critics' Choice, and if it wins Critics' Choice, that means it has won at every precursor it's been nominated for. And then we'll see what happens at BAFTA. So yeah, man, that is what it is. I think we'll just leave it there. In any case, go check out my Oscar nominations reaction video to get my full recap, my full rundown of the stuff. So yeah, that happened. And really the next order of business is the Critics' Choice Awards, which is not until February 7th, which is like almost 2 weeks out. It's like a little under 2 weeks out. So we don't have a lot going on, until then. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be chilling. I'm probably not going to have any new videos until the precursors start kicking off again. So I just want to do this podcast to kind of pad things along in a sense. So if you're listening, thank you so much for listening. And we might leave it at that, folks. We might leave it at that. But next order of business are, like I said, the Critics' Choice Awards. I will be doing, for every major precursor, for those of you new to the channel, for every major precursor, televised precursor, I do a live stream of not the ceremony. I don't live stream the ceremony itself due to, obvious reasons. I do live stream just me reacting to the ceremony, the winners in each category, my live commentary of the ceremony and who the winners are, and just it's mainly just like a hangout live stream. And I will be doing that for the Critics' Choice Awards ceremony, which again is on February 7th. It's a Saturday. I hope to see you guys there, and that is going to be my YouTube channel. I'll be live on YouTube. And I will be doing the same for the SAG Awards, which are, I believe, in late February. There's also the BAFTA awards, but the BAFTAs are usually during the afternoon, in the daytime. And I typically like to just record my reactions ahead of time, or, I usually don't do live streams for the BAFTA awards. But I will do one for Critics' Choice. I will do one for SAG. And of course, I will be doing one for the Oscars. And that's the last hurrah of the season. And that is a party. And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Critics' Choice Awards, February 7th. That is the next order of business for the channel. But until then, I'm going to be catching up on some films that I haven't seen yet. I'm going to try to watch I'm Still Here. I still need to see Wicked. I still haven't seen that yet. I'd like to maybe see Inside Out 2, but I don't know. Maybe I'll catch that. Some of the international feature nominees I still have yet to see, like Seed of the Sacred Fig. What are the other ones that I haven't looked? Oh, Girl with a Needle I haven't seen yet. Like I said, I'm Still Here. What else? Yeah, Seed of the Sacred Fig, I'm Still Here, Girl with the Needle. I still need to see those three international. And of course the documentary features. I need to track those down and see those. And there's probably some others that I can't think of right now. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing in the meantime. So we're gonna call it there, folks. We're gonna call it there. I hope I did a good job. Sometimes I'm pretty self-conscious about my podcast and how I carry myself. And, doing a podcast by yourself it's not easy, because you have to not only exude confidence, but you need to carry it all the way through, and you're the only one talking, and it's like you're talking to yourself almost, but I'm talking to you guys. And I lose my voice because I usually don't talk this much constantly. So it is a challenge for me, but I hope it's worth it in the end. So we'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I used to do these every week, but it's more sporadic these days. Maybe I'll do another one pretty soon, but that's it, man. I think we'll just leave it at that. God bless. Happy predicting. Go out and watch some movies. Go to the movie theater. Support the industry. Support the victims of the LA wildfires. Please. Y'all are still in my thoughts and prayers. And that's it, man. That's it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch y'all on the flip. Thanks for listening to the Oscar Out Here podcast. And Oscar Guy is out. See you guys next time.